Remi lived in a small peaceful village nestled in the French countryside. The village was surrounded by rolling hills and sparkling streams. Remi loved his village. It was a place where everyone knew each other. Remi loved animals. He had a kind heart and a gentle touch. He could often be found in the fields, talking to the birds and playing with the rabbits. He helped the local farmers herd their sheep and even befriended a mischievous little squirrel he named Chestnut. Remi dreamed of adventure. He longed to explore the world beyond his village. He would spend hours reading books about daring explorers and their incredible journeys. He wished he could have exciting adventures too. One sunny afternoon, as Remi was playing with Chestnut near the village entrance, he saw something unusual. A brightly painted caravan was slowly making its way down the road. It was unlike anything Remi had ever seen before. The caravan came to a stop in the village square, and a man emerged from inside. He had a kind face and a twinkle in his eye. He was dressed in colorful clothes and wore a jaunty hat with a feather in it. This was Vitalis, a traveling performer and storyteller.
Hello there, I am Vitalis and I bring you stories and songs from faraway lands.
Remi was instantly captivated. He had never met anyone like Vitalis before. He inched closer, eager to hear what the storyteller had to say. Vitalis's voice was warm and inviting as he shared tales of daring adventures and far-off kingdoms. After the performance, Remi worked up the courage to speak to Vitalis. Remi, your stories were amazing. Did you really travel to all those places?
I did, and I'm always looking for a brave companion to join me on my adventures.
He looked at Remi with a knowing glint in his eye. Remi's heart skipped a beat. Could this be the adventure he had been longing for? He looked at Vitalis, his heart pounding with excitement. Remi, do you really think I could come with you?
I have a feeling you have a brave heart, Remi. Come, join me. We'll travel to distant lands, sing songs, tell stories, and who knows what wonders we might find along the way.
Remi didn't need to be asked twice. He raced back to his home and quickly packed a small bag with a few belongings. He knew he couldn't leave without saying goodbye to his animal friends. He found Chestnut and whispered, Remi, I'm going on an adventure. I'll be back to tell you all about it. As the sun began to set, Remi climbed into Vitalis's caravan. With a wave goodbye to his village, they set off on their journey. Remi's heart soared with excitement. He was finally living his dream. Traveling with Vitalis was more exciting than Remi could have ever imagined. They journeyed through picturesque countryside, their caravan rumbling along dusty roads. They climbed over rolling hills and crossed babbling streams, the world unfolding before them like a giant map. Each day brought new sights and sounds. Remi marveled at the towering mountains and vast forests. He listened intently to Vitalis's stories about the places they passed, his imagination running wild. They stopped in bustling towns and quiet villages, sharing their music and stories with the people they met along the way. Remi discovered he had a talent for playing the flute, and soon he was joining Vitalis in his performances. Their music brought smiles to the faces of those who heard it. One evening they were performing in a small village square when an old man with twinkling eyes approached them. He had been listening intently to their music and stories.
You are natural storytellers. Have you ever heard the legend of the hidden treasure?
He asked, a knowing smile on his face. Carefully, Remi and Vitalis made their way into the castle ruins. The air was thick with dust, and the only sounds were the flutter of bats' wings and the distant dripping of water. They explored crumbling hallways, peered into dusty chambers, and climbed rickety staircases. As they ventured deeper into the castle, Remi noticed a narrow passage hidden behind a tapestry. He pointed it out to Vitalis.
Maybe the treasure is hidden down there.
They carefully moved the tapestry aside and entered the passage. The passage opened into a large echoing chamber. Suddenly, Remi heard a low growl coming from the shadows. Before he could react, a large furry shape emerged from the darkness. It was a bear, and it looked very unhappy to see them. Remi's heart pounded in his chest. He knew they were in danger. He quickly grabbed Vitalis's arm and pulled him towards a small crevice in the wall. They squeezed through just as the bear lumbered towards them. They were trapped, but at least they were safe for now. The bear paced back and forth in front of the crevice, blocking their exit. Remi and Vitalis huddled together, their hearts pounding. They needed to find a way out of this predicament.
We need to find another way out, Remi.
As Remi looked around for another escape route, something shimmered in the dim light. He crawled towards the shimmering object, his heart filled with a mixture of fear and curiosity. It was a small wooden chest, tucked away in a corner. The chest was ornately carved and looked very old. This had to be the hidden treasure.
What is it, Remi?
Remi carefully lifted the chest. It was heavier than he expected.
Remi, what did you find? Remi, I think I found it. I think this is the treasure.
Vitalis's eyes widened in surprise.
Amazing, but how do we get out of here with it?
Just then, they heard a loud crash. The bear, frustrated in its attempts to reach them, had knocked over a pile of rubble, creating a new passage through the castle wall. This was their chance. Remi clutched the treasure chest tightly as he and Vitalis made their escape through the newly created passage. They scrambled over the rubble and ran as fast as they could, not stopping until they were safely out of the castle ruins. They didn't waste any time leaving the Whispering Woods, their hearts still racing from their encounter with the bear.
We made it, Remi!
As they made their way back through the forest, they couldn't stop talking about their adventure and the treasure they had found. When they finally reached the edge of the woods, they looked at each other, a sense of accomplishment washing over them. They had faced their fears, solved the mystery of the ancient castle, and escaped a very angry bear. Remi, what should we do with the treasure? Remi asked, his eyes wide with wonder as he looked at the chest. Vitalis thought for a moment.
We should return to your village. They will know what to do.
News of Remi's return spread through the village like wildfire. The villagers gathered in the square, eager to hear about his adventures. Remi, feeling a little shy but very proud, recounted their tale. The journey, the mysterious old man, the Whispering Woods, the castle, the bear, and finally, the treasure. The villagers listened, their eyes wide with amazement.
And that's how we found the treasure.
When Remi finished his story, a cheer erupted from the crowd. They were proud of their young adventurer and amazed by his bravery. The mayor stepped forward, his face beaming with pride. Mayor, Remi, you have brought honor to our village. Your courage and kindness are an inspiration to us all. He turned to the crowd. Mayor, let us decide together how best to use this treasure to benefit everyone. The villagers erupted in cheers once more. Remi's heart swelled with happiness. He had set out on an adventure, but he had also discovered something even more valuable: the importance of courage, kindness, and community. The treasure was used to improve the village. They repaired the old schoolhouse, built a new well, and even had enough left over to help those in need. Remi was hailed as a hero, but he knew he couldn't have done it without Vitalis. Life in the village returned to its peaceful rhythm, but something had changed for Remi. He had tasted adventure and discovered a bravery he never knew he possessed. He was no longer content with just dreaming of faraway lands. He wanted to see them for himself.
What will you do now?
Vitalis asked, a knowing smile on his face. Remi looked at the horizon, his eyes filled with a familiar sense of longing. Remi, I think it's time for more adventures. There's a whole world out there waiting to be explored. And with a smile, knowing that Remi's heart was set on new horizons, Vitalis nodded. Their adventures were far from over.